So, okay, what you will do today? So, first, basically, we will write one simple application, so which is having
Okay.
username and password, and we will submit that one, and we will read that field inside means from the servlet side. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we will display the fields, and we will display some message username. I mean, logged in successfully. If
Login
username
successful.
and password is wrong, then we will display please
Mm.
provide valid username and password.
Okay.
After that we will see, so once you logged in, right, so how the session is creating, so how, I mean, a server will identify a particular user, I mean, uniquely, and how the response is sending back to the
Mhm.
only that particular user, why it's not sending to some other user, how
Okay.
it is maintaining the state basically. So that and all we will see today. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me write one simple web application, file new dynamic web project, login app. Okay, let me select version as a 2.5. Next, and finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So first what I had to do, I had to develop one HTML page. HTML page which is having fields username and password. Okay, right click. So whatever HTML page you are going to develop, everything will come under web content.
Okay.
So right click, new HTML. So the page name I'm giving login.html.
Mm.
So here what I want to do, I want to develop a simple table. Simple table means basically two columns and two rows
Okay.
like this. First row, second row. In first row, here username,
Mm-hmm.
text field, and password,
Okay.
text field. After that,
Mm.
submit button, one button on the middle.
Yes. Okay.
So basically how many rows?
Mm.
Three rows.
3 rows.
Three rows, and for first two rows
Two
having
column.
two columns, and third row having only one
No
column.
column.
We can
I
consider
mean,
the
yeah,
entire
one
thing is
column.
one column. Okay, and entire this thing I'm considering as a one form, one HTML
Okay.
form, and entire this
Okay.
thing I'm considering as a one document.
Okay.
So this is the way I'm going to design the page. It's a very simple page. So first what I had to do, I had to create a form.
Mm.
Form, open tag and ending tag. Form is ready, and entire this thing is a document. Okay,
Okay.
and inside the
Inside I
form,
will have to create a table.
yes, inside the form I had to create the HTML table. So the table is the starting tag and ending tag. So one table. So inside the table, I want to create how many rows? Three rows.
Yes.
This is first row. So each row having two columns. Correct? First two row having two columns. This is a TD,
Mm-hmm.
table data. First
Mm-hmm.
column. And what is the label I want to give? Username.
Yes.
Okay. And for second column in the first row is a text
Password.
field.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
So this is the first column, first TD, and second TD is the text field.
Yes.
Okay, let me write a text field. How to write input? Type equal to text and name equal to password
Okay.
and ending tag. So this is first row. Correct?
Okay.
Now what I will
Mm-hmm.
do, I will copy this one and I will paste as it is. So second row will be ready. Second row,
Mm-hmm.
first column is password,
Yes.
and input type equal to text, but you should not keep here text. If you keep as a text, what will happen? Whatever the password you are typing, it will be visible.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to change it to password.
So then on top, the test name should be username, right?
Yeah, it's username. Yes, sorry, this is username. Oh, label name I had given him is username, correct. And this is password. Now it is fine,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the last
You need
row
to have another table row.
is another row which is having one column.
Yes.
Okay, let me write another row. Tr one row, and in this row we have only one column, correct?
Yes.
So what?
Submit.
Yeah, what we have to do
It's a
basically
button.
one button,
It's a
correct?
button.
So, but this table having two columns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but third row also should have two columns. But what we are trying to do, we are clubbing the two columns together and we are making one column, correct?
Okay.
So basically,
Oh yes.
ideally, so correct this. So basically, this row
Can you
also.
put it center?
Yeah,
Can you centralize?
we'll keep that one also center. But ideally, it should be this row also should have two columns. So what we are doing,
Okay.
what we are trying to combine two columns so that we have a field called call span. So how many
Mm.
columns you want to combine? Two columns.
Okay.
So then it will display only one big column.
Mm.
And inside that I want to display one button. So this is a submit type. And the value what I want to display here, submit or login. Can give anything. This is a label basically.
Okay.
Now our table is ready. Now let me
Mm.
deploy this one, and today I will tell you slowly new things.
Okay.
Okay, let me remove all those things. Let me add only login app. Let me deploy. And now I will restart the server.
How did you deploy it again? Can you
So how to deploy? Just right click, run as,
on server?
run on server. Why? Because this is a web application. We need a server, right?
Mhm.
If it is a
Yes.
core Java means you will select Java application.
Application. Mm.
And there is another concept called applets. So nowadays nobody is using these
Mm.
applets. It's a kind of a dead.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
before finding that HTML, JSP, right? So they were using applets.
Okay.
So
Okay.
nowadays 99% of the applications are web applications. Nobody is using these applets.
Mm.
99%. Okay.
Mm.
Now we need to see our results, right? So how to see? So we need to type HTTP colon our port number. So our port number is, what is the port number? 5050, not 508080, I guess. Okay, if you want to, if you don't know what is the port number, what you have to do? Go to the server, just double click and maximize it.
Mhm.
See here, what is the port number? HTTP
Mm.
1.1 5050.
Okay.
So that is the way to identify the port number. Okay, now HTTP colon localhost colon 5050
Mm.
slash, what is our application name? Login app
Mm.
slash
Okay.
login.html. Enter. So now we can able to see username and password, correct?
Yes.
And now if you see here, right, so every time I'm typing our HTML name, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
basically I know the application, but I don't want to mention this login.html. So what we have to do?
Okay.
So whenever I'm trying to open my application like this, I want to open my application like this. So it is telling some 404 not found.
Mm-hmm.
So what it means? So you know the application. Whenever if anybody is trying to access your application, by default you have to display some login page.
Mm-hmm.
The similar way, right? If you open google.com, so you will see some big text box. The similar way, if you open facebook.com, so you will see the login page, correct? So
Mm-hmm.
these are the default pages they are displaying, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So in the similar
Yes.
way, even whenever I'm opening my application login app, so I need to see the login page. So
Mm.
how to configure
Okay.
this one? So you have web content, correct? So inside web content, we have a webnf. So inside that you will see one web.xml. Just expand
Mm.
it. And if you see this web.xml, it started with XML version something. This is a basic XML version, so you can ignore this one. It is not required. And this is a web app. This is a parent tag. Okay.
Okay.
This is also no use. So here also we are. This is some XML signature. It's not that much useful. So you can ignore this one. And the next
Okay.
tag you will see display name. So this is basically your application name.
Okay.
This is optional tag. If you want, you can keep. If you don't want, you can remove it.
Okay.
There is no, it just will give some information. That's all. It will. If you even if you remove also, it will not give any problem.
Okay.
Okay. And after that, you will see one welcome -file -list.
Okay.
So this is very important. So welcome. This is a parent tag. Welcome -file -list and ending tag. So inside that, you will see some child tags.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the purpose of these child tags? No. So whatever file you will mention here.
Mm.
So let's suppose I'll mention here login.html. So whenever you are trying to, after once the deployment is done, whenever you are trying to access your application, so it will look for the welcome file.
Mm-hmm.
And inside that, what file is there? It will try to open that file by default, always.
Okay. So right now it was having index.html and
Correct.
default.html.
Yes, that
And
files
if
are
you're not
not
able
there.
to, so yeah, so what will happen if it's not there?
Then you will see 404. It's not able to
Oh.
identify the file, whatever you mentioned here. You mentioned some file, but the file is not there. The file doesn't exist in the system. So then you
Okay.
see 404. If it is not able to find any resource, then the server will give back the response as a 404.
So now, since we have it login.html, it should show you the login page.
Correct.
Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now what I had to redeploy the application. Why? Because I modified the web.xml. So I had to redeploy. So just
So this is just to load the default page whenever
correct.
you load a web.
Yes. Correct. So how to
You don't
read?
have to specify the name of the web page.
Correct. Yes. Just select it, and you did see there. Just click here. So it will
Mhm.
redeploy the application. Then restart the server.
Okay.
Okay. Now go back to your page. So now if you see here, only application name is there. I didn't mention any.
Mhm. Yes, a web page.
Correct. Now,
Okay.
so this is one point. Now username I can able to type and password also I can able to type. Now once after submitting, it should go to the server and it should display the username and password. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now what? Now the second question is we have to write on servlet. Correct? To read or to listen the request information. Okay.
We changed the password type. So we changed the display type to password, right?
Yes. You are not
In
able
web.
to see. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Here we are not able to see. Here you can see. Okay, you can able to see the password, username. So now, so to listen or to read the user information, so we need one servlet, correct? So
Yes.
for that purpose, inside the SRC, I am trying to write one servlet. So right click, new. So web, under web, you will see servlet. So select that one. Next. So if you want, you can give the package name. So I'm giving com.login. So here this package is same like a core Java we have discussed, right? So package name and class name. What class name you want to give? I'm trying to give login servlet.
Okay.
Package name is com.login and class name is login servlet. So and in previous class, right? So every class is subclass of object class, correct? So now here
Yes.
all the servlets are subclass sub of HTTP servlet. So that's what it's
Okay.
super class is HTTP servlet.
Okay.
Your class,
That'll automatically be populated,
yeah,
is it?
that will automatically populate. No need to do anything. Next.
So, okay. Yeah, because you're creating a servlet.
Yes, just I'm creating the servlet and I'm not doing any change. Just next. That's all. Okay. Now, so our servlet, you go to src com login and servlet is created. Package name and servlet is created, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and if you see inside your servlet, you will see some errors. So basically it's not able to identify the some of the libraries. So in core Java we need we are updating the class path and JDK home, Java underscore home, we are updating, right? So correct. So in the similar way, for this to work the servlets, we need some server runtime. So basically in case of core Java, we used to update the JDK path, Java underscore home, correct? But for servlets and JSP, for servlets, we need a server runtime. So how you will provide the server runtime? So we have already server, correct? So inside the server, we have already some libraries. So let me add that libraries for your project. Right click, properties. You will see anywhere target runtime. Yes, this is the one. So select. So this is your target runtime. It is like just updating the Java underscore home. So now whatever libraries is available inside the server, so that will be using. Okay. Now your servlet is ready. So let me clear out these default comments so that it looks good. Remove it. Remove it. So far it's clear, right? Okay. So now this is your servlet name and it extends HTTP servlet. Okay. And this is your constructor. Okay. And the next method is protected do get and implementation and do post implementation. Okay. Now your servlet is ready. Okay. We have to register this servlet in your web.xml, correct? Go back to your web.xml. So whenever you are creating the servlet, right? So that time itself, the Eclipse will, by default, it will register your servlet in your web.xml. Eclipse will take this one. So now if you will see two tags here. First, we have to register your servlet. Servlet, under that we have a tag called description. This is optional tag. So if you want, you can keep. If you don't want, you can remove it. And the second tag also, name. What is your servlet name? So this is also optional tag. Display name. Down, the next question is servlet-class. So you will see here fully qualified name com.login.servlet. Correct? So this is your original servlet name, servlet class basically with package. Okay. So this servlet, you can give some anonymous name. You can give any name. You can give XYZ also. Okay. So this one we are calling as a login servlet. Okay. This name you can give anything. Okay. So this is the way you have.
As long as this servlet class is the same, it shouldn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You can give XYZ also. Doesn't matter.
No, but the servlet class cannot change, right?
Servlet class cannot change. So this is the physical file. This is a virtual name. We are giving some name.
Yes.
Okay. And now this is the way to register your servlet. And the second question is servlet mapping. Okay. Now the same name, whatever you are giving here, so login servlet, we have to give mapping name as a same. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now URL pattern. So what is the purpose of this URL pattern? Now we will go to your HTML page. So we have a form, right? So inside the form tag, we have a field called action. So whenever I will submit this form, so this request should go to this servlet.
Okay.
So you have to give the URL pattern as this name. So you can give any name here. Whatever name you are giving, you can give XYZ also. The same action name we have to mention here.
Okay.
So that is the one field. There is another field called method. So inside the servlet, we have two fields, do get and two methods, do get and do post. So whenever you will submit a form, so it should reach to the servlet and it should reach one of this method. So which method it should reach, whether it should reach get method or it should reach post method. So that we have to mention over here. So for time being, I'm mentioning get.
Okay.
Okay. Now your action is ready, method is ready, and your submit is ready. Now let me deploy this one, and yeah, let me add one SOP here. This is out. I am from do get, so that you will understand.
Okay.
And now the second question is, I am from
Do post.
okay. Now two methods are ready. Our servlet is ready, our form is ready. Now we have to deploy this one. So if you deploy this one, it will deploy. After that, we have to restart the server. Okay, now.
So what is the whole purpose of having a servlet?
Yeah, the main purpose of servlet. So whatever you are typing here, it should reach the server, and someone need to read it, and we can interact with the database, and we can validate whether these two username and password is right or wrong.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, now our application is ready. Okay. Now username I will enter as a ABC, and password I will mention as a PQR, and submit it. And do you see the console message? I am from doGet, correct?
Yes.
So it went doGet method, and the method is in our HTML page get.
Yes.
Yeah. So the method name is here get, correct?
Yes.
And now go back to your HTML page. If you see your browser URL, right? So username is ABC and password is PQR.
PQR.
It should not display here, correct? So this is not the right way to display username and password in the browser. So what I have.
Can we hide that in the login app?
Yeah, that one, to hide that one, what we have to do. So if you use method name as a get, so the fields whatever you are typing, everything will be visible. So if you mention that one as a post.
Okay.
Now let me redeploy this application and let me resubmit it. What will happen? We'll see. Okay, now our login is ready, correct? Now username is ABC and password is PQR. Let me submit it. Now can you able to see the username and password here?
No.
So the basic difference is, so that is the basic difference between get and post.
Okay.
And if you see here, I am from do post.
Okay. It's already reached the
It's
servlet.
already reached the servlet. Yes. So it's in right now. It's in do post method. Okay. Now we have to read this field from the server side, correct?
Yes.
So how to read it? So let me declare a variable string username equal to. So we have only two fields here: request and arguments, request and response.
Okay.
Correct? Okay. So we have a request field. Open the request dot get parameter. And what is the field name we had given inside your HTML? Username, correct?
Listen.
So copy this one and paste it here. So basically, we are reading from the request or request information, one of the field username, and we are assigning it to the similar way. I want to read password. So what is the password field name we mentioned here? Password. And now go to your page, password, and so this one you can give where some variable name. So now username and password is ready. Let me display it. Write it here. Username colon. Let me display password also. So this is the way to read the user information from the server side. Now username and password I'm reading and I'm displaying in the console. Okay, let me. So this is your constructor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me add one sysout and we'll see how when the constructor will be executed. Means basically, so when the object will be created for this servlet, correct? Someone need to create
Mm-hmm.
object, right? Otherwise, we are not able
Mm-hmm.
to access these methods, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I added one sysout here, login servlet constructor. Okay, now let me redeploy this one. Let me clear the console and let me redeploy. I redeployed. I'm restarting the server. Let me open the console. Did you see right now? Did you see any sysout? No, right?
No.
Okay, now let me submit it. Let me open my application. My application is ready. And now username I'm entering ABC, password is PQR and submit it. So first one is what it is creating.
Login servlet.
Means basically it is executing the constructor. Means it's creating an object, correct?
Mm.
I am from
Yes.
do post. Username is ABC. Password is
Mm.
PQR, correct?
PQR. Yes.
Now what I want to do, I want to resubmit the form again one more time. Okay, now
Okay.
I'm entering username is AST, password is
Mm.
TYU. Let me clear out before submitting.
Mm.
Now did you see that constructor is executed here?
No.
No. So basically the constructor will be created,
Let's
means
do only
basically
one.
the object will be created only one time.
Okay.
So whenever you restart the server for first request, the constructor
Mm-hmm.
means the object will be created. For next request onwards, the same object will be used for all the
Mm-hmm.
requesters.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the main purpose. So who will do these activities, creating the object and all? So container will do. The container is here
Mm.
Tomcat. So
Okay.
for first request, it will look for the login servlet object is there or not. If it is there, it will use. If it is not there, it will create only one time.
Okay. Okay.
So that is the main purpose of the servlet and constructor. After that, it will look for the method name, whatever we are mentioning here, do get or post, corresponding method
Mm-hmm.
will be executed. Correct?
Got it.
Okay, now it is so far it's clear, right? So now the second
Mm-hmm.
question is, so once the username and password you are reaching here, after that I want to display some message to the user. So you logged in
Okay.
successfully something. So how to display some message to the user? So response request dot get. So I want to display one message. What is the username here? So this is the username.
Mm-hmm.
So username plus logged in successfully.
Okay.
So this is the message I want to display. Once the user logged in successfully, then I want to display
Mm-hmm.
user logged in successfully. Okay, let me test it whether it is message is coming or not. Okay, fine. Now go back to your application. Let me open it. So username I'm giving as a ABC and password I'm giving as a PQR. Let me submit it. So you can able to see ABC logged in successfully, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So this is fine. Now, so this user is logged in, right? The similar way, so many people are logging, right? So ABC, and I will
Mm-hmm.
open another browser, means another user, basically.
Got it. Okay.
So here also I will type that one. So here also I'm getting the username and password. So here what I will type, username is a KKKK and password is some junk value. Let me submit it. So it's displaying. So KKK logged in successfully, correct? So basically two users. This is one user and this is another user, correct? Okay, but now the second question is, so whenever you log in ABC, you are getting ABC. Whenever I logged in KKK, it's displaying same response. So how server is identifying? So this KKK user is logged in. So we have to send this response to this browser.
Got it.
So ABC logged in. So why ABC is this response is not sending to this user? Why this response is not sending to this user? So how it's identifying the user? So this is the second question. Okay.
Okay.
Now once the user is logged in, so what server will do? Server will create a particular unique session ID.
Okay.
For every
each
user. For each user.
Okay.
So how to see the session ID? How to see the unique session ID? So now the second question. Okay. So you have a request object, right? So who will prepare this request object? Container.
Yes.
Let me read this request object. Request dot get. Inside the request object, you will see there is a method called session. So what it will return? It will return HTTP session.
Okay.
HTTP session object. Okay, you have a session object, correct? So how you will get this session object? From the request. So from the request you call get session. So you will get HTTP session. From the session, right? So there is a field called session ID. So how to get the session ID? Just out. Let me display it. Session ID colon session SESS7 session dot get ID. So basically how we are getting the session? From the request, correct? From the request you are getting HTTP session. From that session I am trying to get one of the method called get ID. Okay. Okay, now let me go back to my browser. So I need to redeploy this application. Okay, let me redeploy it, restart it. Fine. Now I have a two browsers, means basically two users, correct? Okay, let me log in and we will see whether how the session ID is creating or not. So this is the first user. This is second user.
Okay.
Two users. The first user, what I am trying to give, username is ABC. ABC1
Okay.
and password is something. Let me print it, submit it. So it is creating session ID is some alphanumeric. You see there? It's a unique ID.
Yes.
The session ID ending is 783.
Okay.
So for ABC123, the session ID is 783. And now go back to another user. Now here PQR123 and the password is something. Let me submit it. So go back to here and what is the session ID here?
880.
880. So two different users and two different session IDs it is created, correct?
Got it. Yes.
Okay, now go back to the same user, same browser. So this is one particular user, right? Okay, let me clear it out. Let me submit again from the same browser. Something.
Okay.
So this user is basically from PQR. Okay, let me submit it again. Did you see the same ID is created, correct?
Okay.
So because this user ID is same, this browser is same. So as long as you are submitting from the same browser, the same session ID will be created. So how the same session ID is
So
made?
that's why you we have this session expiry
Correct.
time,
Yeah,
is
that
it?
is the second point I will tell you. Yeah. So how the
Hmm.
session ID is coming to the browser and how the session ID is related to browser and server. Okay.
Okay.
Now you got some idea, right? How it's
Hmm.
identified uniquely.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, so this is user. So this is user. Okay. One user. And this is server. Okay. This is server and this is user number one. Okay. So first time when user is submitted one request R1, so what it will do, it will create one session ID S1 server. Okay.
Okay.
And after that, what it will give response back to the user. Correct. User
Yes.
logged in successfully something. So this is response one. Okay. So
Hmm.
once the session ID is created from the server side, whenever you are sending back response to the user, right? So what it will send? It will send response plus session ID also.
Hmm.
So you will get session ID also as part of response. So that session ID will be saved inside your browser as part of cookies.
Okay. Okay.
So session ID will be created from the server side, and whenever you are sending back response to the user, so response plus session ID also it will send.
Okay.
So that session ID will be saved in your browser cookie.
Hmm.
Okay, again whenever you are making second request, so whatever session ID got created in the inside the browser, so that will be sending again back to the server.
So, yes.
This is R2, you can consider R2 plus S1.
Okay.
So inside the server side, it is already maintaining some database kind of thing.
Hmm.
So how many session IDs are created? So far, how many session ID? One. Request number one, SID S1 is created, correct?
Yes.
So now S1 is coming. So it will check its database, whether S1 is a valid one or not.
Okay.
If it is a valid one, it will process the request.
Okay.
Again, whenever you're sending response back, it will send the response back. Again, response RE3 plus S1.
Got it.
So that's what it's maintaining. Server don't know what is ABC, what is PQR. So it knows only session ID. It's the basically
Okay.
stateless.
Got it.
So that is what it's maintaining the state between user and server.
Yes.
Okay, if user 2 is logged in, so for user 2, right? So first time user 2 is sending, so there is no session right here.
Yes.
So by default session ID is nothing blank. So what it will do, it will look for the session. In this request, is there any session ID is there? If it is there, it will use, and if it is there, it will check inside the database.
If it is not there, it'll give it a new one.
It will create a new one.
Yes.
And as part of the response, it will send back that session ID.
Got it.
So that is what it is, session ID is creating and it is maintaining.
Okay.
Okay, now the second question is, so how many and session expiring? So we have a session, if you logged into your banking website, right, after 5-6 minutes, if you try to, if you're ideal for 5 minutes, after 5 minutes, if you click any other link, so you will see your session is expired. Please log in again, correct?
Okay.
Okay. Now the session ID is created and it is available inside the some memory of server, correct? So what is the duration of the session ID we need to keep inside your database? So that is the next point. We go back to your servlet. So we have a session here, right? So let me right now, I didn't given any time, correct? If you're not giving any time here, so session dot set max inactive interval. So I want to keep my session only for 1 minute. So session dot set max inactive interval. So here I had given 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
So inside the server, first you log in and so session ID will be created and it will save into the memory. And if you're ideal, if you're not doing any action for 1 minute, that particular user, after 1 minute, so this particular session ID will be removed from the session from the server
Got
side.
it.
So if you log in after 1 minute, it will say the session ID is not found. Please re-log in again.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Or
So
will it say session has expired?
yes, every minute. So that you can configure. You can give as per your requirement.
Okay.
So here I had given 1 minute. So this is minutes basically. So you can give 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It will wait for 2 minutes. Just
Mm-hmm.
for testing, I had given here 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. How to test this one? Whether the session expiry, session is killed or not. So for that purpose, right? So there is another concept called listeners.
Okay.
So what is the purpose of these listeners, right? So I will tell you in another way. So if you see some of the applications, right? So they will display live numbers, live users,
Mm-hmm.
2000 users are in live, logged in, and 3 people are logged out. If you see Naukri or any some of the websites, right? So
Yes.
20,000 people are in live. Three people
Yes.
are went. 3 more people are logged in. 2 people were logged out. Something like that. You'll display some number, correct?
Yes.
So how they're counting how many users are logged in and how many users are logged out. So if one user
Okay.
is logged in means a particular unique session ID will be creating, correct?
Yes.
If one user is logged out or session is killed, so one user you can say logged out, correct? So we need to
Mm-hmm.
remove from the
Yes.
count one.
Okay.
So how many sessions is available inside the memory? So that many users are in live, correct?
Got it.
So that how to count that how many sessions are created. So there is
Mm.
small concept called listeners. So what is that listener? So let me go to your servlet, right click here, right, new, type here listener. Just type
Okay.
here listener, and so you will get a listener. Select next. So you have to give your package. I'm giving package com dot listener, and I'm giving
Okay.
my session listener. You can
Mm.
give any name. So package
Okay.
com dot listener, and sir class name I had given my session listener, and
Mm.
super class, see here blank.
Okay.
So we need to select a super class. So here, okay, now we'll go here. Don't give here. So here we have to type here other or else just click next. So
Okay.
here, right? So there is so many servlets is there, session events is there. So for time being,
Mhm.
what we have to do, session listener. Did you see there? HTTP session
Yes.
listener.
Yes. Yes. Life
Just select
cycle.
this. Yes, select HTTP session listener and next and finish it. Okay, now your servlet or listener is ready.
Okay.
Okay, let me clear this thing. So this is your listener name, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the super class for this one is HTTP session listener. So that's what I
Yes.
selected here.
Got it.
Okay, let me clear this thing. Let me clear it. Let me clear it. So what is the purpose of this listener? I will tell you. Let me clear it. Okay. You can able to hear me?